Hello, this is Gringo in the kitchen with Zenobia Beckley once again. And here in the kitchen today we're going to be doing a Brazilian pudding cake. Now by pudding cake, I mean there's going to be two layers. You're going to have the cake on the bottom and the pudding on the top. But to start, we need 2/3 of a cup of sugar. And with that sugar, I'm going to make some caramelization, and it will be going around in the pan in here. Right? And I'll show you how to do that. We put that in the pan, we melt down the sugar, all right? And then for the pudding, we do that second. We're going to have 1.5 cups of milk. We're going to have 3 eggs, and then 1 can of, what do we call this? We call it sweetened condensed milk, okay? Now, for the cake itself, you can either make your own cake out of your own type of recipe, or for me, I got the red velvet cake here that I had in the cupboard, and I'm looking at what I need here. It's 1.25 cups of water, 3 eggs, and then we got 1/2 cup of oil, which I use coconut oil, which is healthy. Turning the heat on about 3/4 level, and then we're going to spread the sugar down inside the pan. And it's going to take a little bit, but it'll start melting down. It becomes caramelized. And then while it's caramelizing, you stir it. You got to stir it, otherwise it'll burn. You do not want burnt sugar because it'll ruin your cake. So it's going to take a little time here, so we'll be right back. See how it's starting to melt? Now, if you've ever been to the county fair and you ate cotton candy, that's basically what that is sugar. But as they melt it, they spin it, and then it turns into what looks like cotton. So you can do a lot of fancy things here with sugar. But for right now, you can see how it's starting to get a little clumpy. Well, that'll break down again once it starts melting here. You just got to keep moving it, otherwise it'll burn. But I suggest that you use a pan that's a non-stick pan, otherwise you'd have a lot of problems. Also, cleaning up afterwards with the sugar, it gets very, very hard, and you got to usually reheat the pan in order to get the residual out. But all right, so now it's going to come quickly. All right, you can see here we've been doing about 3-4 minutes now, and you can see how quickly it's melting down. You just want to get all the clumps out. But with the heat that's in the pan already, I could actually turn it down a little bit. It will continue to melt down. But again, you really got to keep stirring it. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem. When you get burnt sugar, it's not good for anything. You just have to throw it away. So, see how it's going? And then just try to break down the pieces a little bit as you're going. All right, now that you've got the golden color here, you can see the chunks are pretty well gone, or they're dissolved. Now, we just want to make sure everything's melted down. See how that flows? All right, now, we're going to move over here to the pan, and what we got to do is put it around. All right, get it out. And it hardens up very quickly, so you got to make sure you get out what you can. All right, you set this aside. Now that's pretty hot, so you got to be careful with that. And then I take a spatula, and then I have to move this up the sides and up the center. It's getting hard, so you got to get it going really quickly, and you want to get it all the way up the sides. Okay, now that we have our pan ready to go, we got the caramelization in the pan, it's time to make the pudding. Pudding's really simple to make. You put in your milk, you add your eggs, all right, and then the final thing you put in is the sweetened condensed. Okay. There you go. Just make sure you get it sort of settles to the bottom of the can, so you got to make sure you scrape that. All right. All right, very good. So once we get that in there, we're going to mix it. Now, you need to mix this for at least a minute or two because of the sweetened condensed milk needs to break down. So here we go. Okay, we've let that run for about 2 minutes, Now it's really good and liquidy. That's exactly what you want. Now, you see the caramelization here. The reason we do caramelization is because when we put it in the oven, all of that's going to release and it's going to soak into the sides of the cake. It's going to look really cool. All right. There we go. We just pour that in there. Okay. So now we're going to let that sit for a minute. Okay, now we have the oven is preheating. We're going at 400 degrees for about 40 minutes. Now, normally on a box cake, they say 350 degrees for 25 minutes, but because of the pudding, we're going to cook a little bit longer with a little bit higher temperature. Also, you just have to watch, have your oven light on so you can watch it and make sure it gets to the golden brown. When it gets to the golden brown on top, you're in really good shape. We're going to start with our liquids. Let's go ahead and put the water in first. Let's add some eggs. And we got oil. All right, so before you put the powder in, let's go ahead and run it and mix all this up. You don't have to run it very long, just enough to get it mixed. Just enough to get it mixed up, okay? And then what we're going to do is start adding the powder. So let's put the top back on so it doesn't splash anywhere. Get it started. And then now you can choose to use a regular mixer. I just decided to use the blender because I've already been using it, so I don't have to clean up everything. And then let's start it again, and it should mix it down. We're going to shut it off one more time. Just make sure we get it really deep. Mix it deep. We just want to pump a little air into this cake so it raises. And this is the red velvet. And you can use any type of cake that you choose. All right. Just a couple more spins around the... There we go. Now it's starting to work a little bit. I'm just going to help it out a little bit. It should be almost done. Okay, so now we're done with the mix. And what we have to do now is we're going to pour it. And you're going to see that it's going to try to look like it's sinking down inside the pudding, but what happens when we're cooking is that it separates itself. It's going to be really neat. All right. Just keep going around in a circle until it's all gone. You're going to see the really cool colors that come out of this. Okay, we'll get a little bit to the center here. I don't want to go on top of the center. All right. Just make sure it all comes out. And for that, I think I'm going to have to get myself a spoon. Maybe not. Now, one of the secrets of this here cake is that you have to put a pan of water, like a roaster pan you could use, put about a half an inch of water. You're going to put a little vinegar in it. That keeps your pan from turning colors. And then you're going to put the pan, your cake, inside of this. So let's put this inside the oven first. They call it Baño de Maria, Mary's bath. I don't know exactly why they call it that, but that's what it is. And then we're going to take the cake, set it right down inside. We're going to turn the light on for the oven so we can keep an eye on it. And then just slide it back in. It's going to be at 400 degrees for 40 minutes. Okay, we're back, and we've taken the pudding cake out of the oven. You can see here some of the puddings run down around the sides, which is okay. And one thing you want to do when you take it out of the refrigerator, or when you take it out of the oven, is you want to let it cool down and then stick it in the refrigerator for a little bit so it stiffens up a little bit. And then you just take it and the pan and you flip it over into a plate, and this is what you got. Because if you remember, we put the pudding in first and we put the cake in last. Now the cake is on the bottom. All right, so let's go ahead and take a piece here, okay? Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, we're going to take this right out of here. Okay, you can see that right there. That's our cake, and we got the pudding on top. All right. All right, let's give it a try. Let's give it a try here. Okay, so, all right, this is our Brazilian pudding cake. Now that's what I'm talking about. All right, so I gotta have another one. And actually the cake itself tastes sort of like a pudding. And you can see where the color of the cake, it merged right into the pudding. The pudding should be white, but when the colors, they blend, so it makes it look pretty nice. All right, the Brazilian pudding cake is complete. Tastes very good. So on behalf of myself, Gringo in the Kitchen with Zenobia Beckley, please subscribe, like, and share on our channel. Also ring the little bell, and that will be able to give you an indication of when we have new videos coming out. English videos come out on Wednesday. Portuguese videos come out on Friday. If you have any recipes that you might have that you want us to do, go ahead and send them in the comments. Or if you try this, send a picture so we'll be able to see how it worked out for you. I haven't seen anything like this in America as far as the pudding on top of a cake. But if you have anything, or if you have any other recipes you want us to do for you, that'll be wonderful. So thank you, and have a wonderful day.